The government has spent more money than we even have. How are we going to pay it back? Ladies and gents, welcome back. Our government has been spending like a drunken sailor over the past few years. 8 years of Justin Trudeau, and Trudeau has racked up more debt than all the other prime ministers in our country combined. And well, we have this huge, massive debt that we have to pay. And well, in a recent committee talking about Bill C-47, that would be our Budget Implementation Act of 2023, Chrystia Freeland was grilled by Conservative MP Adam Cham asking, how much do we actually owe? And how are we going to pay this back? Let's get into the clip here.
Tell the committee and Canadians how much we're spending or projected to spend on interest on the debt
Now, this sounds like just a normal question. Can you tell me how much we're going to spend on our national debt and how much we're going to have to pay in interest? And asking the finance minister, by the way, this is the finance minister, should be a pretty easy answer to give, right?
upcoming fiscal year? Just looking for the number.
Let me just say, because I think it's important to put things in context, that in both...
Minister, my time is very limited. I'm asking if you know the number. You have a lot of officials beside you. Will you tell Canadians how much we're going to spend on servicing the debt next year?
Here's what I think, that it's really important to put numbers in context. Without context, numbers are meaningless. Our debt service charges are low in Canada's historical context, and they are low compared to what our peers in the G7
Thank you for the context. What's the gross dollar value we're going to spend on interest on the debt next year?
And let me again, I really am opposed to fiscal fear-mongering by the Conservatives. And so
fiscal fear-mongering. This is really a question of how much money do we have to pay back? This is Canada that's about to go into a recession. There's going to be less tax revenue to pull in as people are working less, and there's less revenue to bring to the coffers of the government. How is this fiscal, fiscal fear-mongering, as she said? It's just unbelievable. Tell us the number. What is the number, Chrystia?
I am opposed to fiscal fear-mongering by the Conservatives. And so the important point to make for Canadians is that in historic context, our debt service charges are reasonable and sustainable,
respectfully,
and
Minister,
lower than they have been in many previous years. That's why S&P reaffirmed our AAA rating.
I'm asking, will you tell Canadians how much we're spending on the debt? It's in black and white in your book. Do you just not want to say?
I think that it's important to put all numbers in context.
Thank you, Minister. I'll move to the next question.
And do you not agree that in historic context, our debt service charges are absolutely handleable?
Adam Chambers giving a great question. Of course, Chrystia Freeland coming back with a question of her own, which is just ridiculous. Now, this isn't the first time that we've heard this kind of thing, asking the government, well, hey, how are we going to service this? This is a clip from a few years ago asking Justin Trudeau on Global News, how are we going to service the debt, all this debt that you're racking up?
Regardless of what that figure is exactly, future governments are going to have to carry that debt. The servicing costs on that are going to be very high.
Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
So he's taken back massively by the question of servicing debt. Yeah, okay, when you rack up debt, you're going to have to pay it back at some point. This is going to get really expensive for us. He's taken back. And what is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's response to this?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Okay, but it's still a lot of money.
No.
It's still a lot of money.
No.
And you don't know where. Okay, but how are you going to pay for that? How are you going to pay for those costs in future years? Are you going to increase taxes, or are you going to cut programs?
Okay.
Well, increased taxes is definitely something that the Liberal government's going to do. But here we are, where interest rates are no longer at historic lows. We're actually at some of the highest interest rates that we've been for some time. And we're watching banks around the world fail because of this. Now, like there was a situation with some banks where they said there was some malinvestment. You know what those malinvestments were? Well, they were government bonds. They were too heavily invested in government bonds that had really, really low yields. And then when depositors came back and asked for them, they had to take them out prematurely and pay the current interest rates on those bonds. This is where we really are today. Now, this hasn't always been the point of view of Chrystia Freeland. She did a number of years ago a TED Talk, where anybody can do a TED Talk these days, it seems. But she talked about the super rich and how it's going to be a dangerous situation with the growing divide between the rich and poor in the world.
The terrifying reality is that there is no economic rule which automatically translates increased economic growth into widely shared prosperity. That's shown in what I consider to be the most scary economic statistic of our time. Since the late 1990s, increases in productivity have been decoupled from increases in wages and employment. That means that our countries are getting richer, our companies are getting more efficient, but we're not creating more jobs, and we're not paying people as a whole more.
We're outsourcing those jobs. Come on. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Figure it out.
One scary conclusion you could draw from all of this is to worry about structural unemployment. What worries me more is a different nightmare scenario. After all, in a totally free labor market, we could find jobs for pretty much everyone. The dystopia that worries me is a universe in which a few geniuses invent Google and its ilk, and the rest of us are employed giving them massages.
Yeah, well, this is this is the sentiment that she had when she was still a reporter, not the trustee at the board of the World Economic Forum and finance minister of Canada. She also wrote this book, Chrystia Freeland, Plutocrats, the rise of the new global super rich and the fall of everybody else. But hey, you know, maybe she's changed her mind. Maybe she got a little taste of that, being one of the super rich, and and is enjoying the fall of everybody else. But hey, if you're having a hard time at home, here's some of the things that you can do. Here's some advice from Chrystia Freeland of if you're suffering in your own homestead. And of course, the clip is not working. Unbelievable. Thank you so much.
I personally think Canadian families are looking really close. As a mother and wife, look carefully at my credit card bill once a month. And last Sunday, I said to the kids, you're older now, you don't want to watch Disney anymore. Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps. And I think every mother in Canada is doing that right now.
If you're struggling, folks, you can cut your bills by getting rid of Disney Plus. You know, it's the government's not going to stop spending your money that you don't even have. But hey, Disney Plus, you could cut that and save the world economy, essentially here. Here's another clip of Chrystia Freeland. Chrystia makes the best argument for no digital currency ever. Well, let's just have a look at this.
Take very careful, kind of incisive spending on the government's part to get the economy going. What might that look like? Can you give us any detail?
Well, it's great to be with you, Amanda. And I want to thank you, first of all, for really zeroing in on the preloaded stimulus idea. None of us have a crystal ball, but economists like Ben, like Doug, have been pointing out that some Canadian households, and it tends to be the better off households, do have quite a lot of money that they've saved because there hasn't been that much to do in the pandemic. And certainly it would be great if that money could go towards driving our recovery.
very
How exactly is it going to do that? Is she going to tax it away from everybody? Marty Up North saying the Liberal and the NDP just can't keep their hands out of our pockets. So what does she mean by that? Is that money that can be used in businesses? Because that would be the traditional way of boosting an economy. But this isn't the way the Trudeau government under Chrystia Freeland as finance minister has been boosting the economy. It's about ESG scores and it's about taxing the living crap out of everybody. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of this whole situation. Why won't she even answer the question? How much do we owe and how much are we going to be paying back this year? Anyway, leave your comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.